नमस्कार विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, कसे आहात? मजेत ना? लॉकडाऊन मधली सुट्टी एन्जॉय करत असाल. मी तुमची एवढ्या आपुलकीने चौकशी करतोय याचं कारण मीही लॉकडाऊन मधली सुट्टी अशाच प्रकारे एन्जॉय करतोय जशी तुम्ही एन्जॉय करताय. थोडक्यातच 9th SSC 8th SSCच्या स्टुडंट्ससाठी अतिशय भाग्यवान अशा विद्यार्थ्यांसाठी मी हा व्हिडिओ लेक्चर रेकॉर्ड करतोय. भाग्यवान यासाठी की तुमची परीक्षा रद्द झाली आहे. एवढं नशीब कोण घेऊन येतं? विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, माझं नाव निलेश पाटील सर आणि मी कॉलेज रोडला माझा दी इंग्लिश अकॅडमी या नावाने क्लास आहे. तुमच्यातील बऱ्याच लोकांना माहीत असेल, काहींना नाही नसेल माहीत. आज मी तुमच्या समोर येण्याचं कारण राजेंद्र पाटील सरांनी जो एक खूप छान असा उपक्रम सुरू केला आहे की 9वी आणि 8वीचे जे विद्यार्थी आहेत यांच्या अभ्यासात कुठेही खंड पडू नये म्हणून हे जे लेक्चर्स रेकॉर्ड करून घेत आहेत सर, खरं तर सरांचं त्यासाठी अभिनंदन केलं पाहिजे की स्वतःच्या त्यांच्या ॲपवर प्लॅटफॉर्मवर हे सगळे लेक्चर्स तुमच्यासाठी उपलब्ध करून देत आहेत. कारण काय होतं विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, जर आपण एखादी गोष्ट सतत नेहमी 21 दिवस, टू बी पर्टिक्युलर इन द लँग्वेज ऑफ सायकोलॉजी, इफ यू कीप ऑन रिपीटिंग समथिंग फॉर 21 days, what will happen, you will get into the habit of doing it. तुम्हाला ती गोष्ट करायची सवय पडते. आणि जर तुम्ही एखादी गोष्ट जी तुम्ही नेहमी करत असाल आणि तुम्ही 21 दिवस ती गोष्ट नाही केली तर काय होतं माहिती आहे? तुम्हाला ती गोष्ट न करण्याची सवय पडते. जसा अभ्यास, बऱ्याच दिवसाची सुट्टी पडल्यानंतर जर तुमची शाळा सुरू झाली तर नक्कीच तुम्हाला सुरुवातीला त्रास होणारच. तेव्हा हा असा त्रास तुम्हाला होऊ नये याकरता आम्ही हे लेक्चर्स तुमच्यासाठी घेऊन आलो आहे आणि मी आज तुम्हाला इंग्रजी विषय शिकवणार आहे. आणि तुम्ही इंग्लिश मीडियमचे स्टुडंट्स आहात म्हणून मला नाईलाजाने का होईना तुम्हाला हे लेक्चर इंग्लिशमध्ये द्यायला लागेल. तुमच्यातील बऱ्याच लोकांची इच्छा नसेल, सर आम्हाला आवडतं मातृभाषेत बोलायला, बट यू पीपल आर लर्निंग इंग्लिश, you people are students of English medium, so you should use English. The topic that I have selected today, children, is very useful, not just for 8th and 9th standard, for 10th standard students as well. So this lecture can be useful for all the students of SSC, even CBSE students. By the way, I take classes for CBSE and SSC students at college road, so even my students are going to find it very useful. So children, let us begin. The topic is figures of speech. Many times we study poems and then we have to appreciate these poems. We have to understand these poems, comprehend these poems, and identify the figures of speech and tell their type. But we don't ever find time to study this topic. It's quite boring topic. So today I thought, why not touch this serious subject? So we are going to study figures of speech. Before we start studying types of figures of speech, children, let me discuss what figures of speech are. Figures of speech, let me tell you, is a deviation from common use or ordinary use of language. Now you will say, sir, what is this deviation from ordinary use? In simple words, I will say, in day-to-day life, we say things in quite simple and plain manner, but poets do not say things in so simple manner. They say things in quite complicated, or we may say figurative language, because that adds to the quality of their writing. Poetic quality is what we call it. And so children, poets, instead of saying that I saw many flowers, the poet will say 10,000 flowers I saw at a glance. The poet says I saw 10,000 flowers. So the poet is using hyperbole, is exaggerating that idea. Okay, instead of saying that I was going lonely or I was walking lonely on a hill, he says I wandered lonely as a cloud. The poet says I was wandering like a cloud. He's comparing himself with a cloud. This is what is figurative language. I hope you understand what it is. Children, it can also be a figure of speech, can also be a single word or a phrase but it definitely brings some difference to the sentence or line. It does not remain common after using figure of speech. I hope you are getting what I'm trying to tell. Let us begin without wasting our time. We'll begin with the figures of speech. We are going to study simile first. Very favorite with many students. Whenever I teach poems in class and I ask what the figure of speech is, many students, sir, simile. I have found it. It is very favorite with students. Simile. What is simile? It's a comparison. Comparison between what? Comparison between two things that are not very common. Two things having no similarity. Children, many examples of simile you people might know already. Like, he fought like a lion. He fought like a lion in the fight. So he is being compared to lion. What is the word that is indicating this comparison? Yes, children. The word like is indicating the comparison. So what do we say? A simile is a direct comparison. What does it mean? That it is clearly indicated in the line itself that one thing is being compared to the other. Using words such as like, as, so as. Like there is one example in 9th standard textbook. There is a poem, Invictus, a very nice poem, one of my favorite. In this poem, the beginning two lines I'm going to recite. Out of the night that covers me, out of the night that covers me, dark as a pit from pole to pole. The poet says, the night that covers me is dark. And he's comparing that night with what? A pit, khadda. He's saying dark as a pit from pole to pole. What do you understand? Here, the night is being compared to a pit. It is, and what is the quality common in them? They are both dark. So children, we see clearly, and the word that is indicating this comparison, dark as a pit, as. You will clearly understand the word is indicating the comparison. It is direct comparison. Another example that I would like to give you is from the poem Daffodils by William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth says, I wandered lonely as a cloud. He says, I was wandering lonely as a cloud. Here he is comparing himself with a cloud. And which word is indicating the comparison? As. Children, what is the quality similar in the poet and the cloud? तुम्ही जर विचार केला तर काहीच नाही सिमिलर, but he is saying that he was lonely like a cloud in the sky. So there is some similarity that he has found, that he has established in that line. So we see a simile is quite easy to identify. A direct comparison, फक्त एवढंच लक्षात ठेवा. If you people are having notebooks, do not forget to write down the meanings of these figures of speech that I'm telling. I'm telling the short definition. I'm saying simile is what? A direct comparison. Let's move ahead and talk about another figure of speech that is also very common, a metaphor, which too is a comparison. Children, a metaphor is an indirect comparison, and that's what is the difference in simile and metaphor. In a metaphor, you will see no single word indicating the comparison is used. They do not use any word for comparison. They say he was the lion in the battle instead of saying he was like a lion. Are you getting it? Here in simile, we are using a word that shows the comparison, but in a metaphor, we are not using that word. We are saying one thing is the other. We say camel is the ship of desert. The camel is called a ship. We are not saying that the camel is like a ship. So we understand, we see in a metaphor there is an indirect comparison. See, in grammatical terms we may use different words. We may say that it is implied simile. You know, one thing you people always need to have in mind, every simile can be changed into metaphor, every metaphor can be changed into simile. Give me an example, I'll do that. If you say camel is the ship of desert, it is metaphor. But if you say camel is like the ship of desert, it is simile. I hope you understand it. A few examples from 9th standard textbook. There is a poem, a beautiful nature poem, Autumn. In that poem, the opening line is, the autumn comes, a maiden fair. Here the autumn is itself called a maiden, an unmarried girl. So we see there is a comparison between the season and the maiden. Another example is from ninth standard poem Silver. It's also a nature poem. Children, in this poem, the poet says, he is silk. I'm sorry, the second example that I'm going to talk about is from the same poem, Autumn. His silken robe is white moonlight. He, sorry, her silken robe is white moonlight. Here, the maiden, her silken robe that covers her is called white moonlight. It simply means the silken robe is being compared to the white moonlight, but one thing is said to be another. You see, there is an indirect comparison between the silken robe and the moonlight. And a very simple example that I'm going to give you is from 10th standard poem by William Shakespeare in the very first unit of 10th standard. The poem title of the poem itself is a metaphor. All the world's a stage, the poet says. All the world's a stage. What is being compared to what? The world is being compared to a stage. Children, let's move ahead. There are so many figures of speech that we have to study, but one of your favorite is personification. Personification is a figure of speech in which a human quality, human attribute is given to something that is inanimate. Something that is inanimate, or you may say it is an abstract notion, abstract idea. What is abstract idea? Something that cannot be seen, touched, imagined is called abstract. So, what do we say? In a personification, we say, you know what? We say inanimate things. What doing? Like the poet says, the flowers were dancing. He says what? The flowers were dancing, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Says William Wordsworth in his poem Daffodils. Fluttering and dancing in the breeze. The flowers were fluttering and dancing. Now, dancing is a human quality, but he says flowers are dancing. So a human quality is attributed to something that is inanimate or abstract. One more example I'll give you from the poem Silver, about which I just talked. In this poem, the poet in the very first line says, slowly, silently, now the moon walks the night in her silver shoon. The poet says the moon is walking. Moon is walking. What a great imagination. Moon is walking in her silver shoon. Shoon means shoes. Moon is said to have, shoes and having the quality of walking, that is human quality. Clearly an example of personification. One very interesting example I have collected. It is the dish ran with the spoon. How interesting. Who runs with whom? The dish ran with the spoon. Somewhere in William Blake's poem it is used. You will say, sir, what you have collected or you have made it up. I have not made it up. It is from William Blake's poem. Actually, I have collected all these examples from different sources. Let me go ahead, children, and talk about the next figure of speech which you people definitely have never heard about. कधी ऐकली नसणार तुम्ही. The name of the figure of speech is metonymy. ऐकलंय का? Metonymy. You will say, sir, what is this? Sir, spell it for us. I understand what you mean. Spell it for us. I will spell it. Meto, Metonymy. Metonymy. Children, this figure of speech, though you people have not heard about, you people might have used it. How? Children, when we, what can I say, substitute a thing with another thing, substituting one thing with another. What does it mean? While speaking, instead of referring to that thing directly, we use another thing. For example, the pen is mightier than the sword. ऐकलंय ना? नक्की ऐकलं. The pen is mightier than the sword. Here the pen is the substitute for intellectual quality or knowledge, and the sword is the substitute for physical power. So physical power, he means to say physical power is not superior to knowledge. Pen is mightier. Intellect or knowledge is superior to physical power. That's what he means to say. But you see, the words are substituted with other words. Many times we say, I have read Shakespeare. What does it mean? He went to read Shakespeare? Person? No. He refers to his work. He has read Shakespeare means what? He has read his books. But he says, I have read Shakespeare. So, if you do not know metonymy, you know what, you may misunderstand what is he trying to say, or you may not understand what is he trying to say. But many times we do use metonymy, even in Marathi, we do that. In newspapers, I most commonly read the news in which they make use of the name of the capital of a country in place of a country. For example, Beijing has taken a strong objection to what US president said. So Beijing has taken a objection means what? Beijing is the capital of China. Getting it? So the capital here is used for substitute for the country itself. I hope this thing is clear to you people. Children, let me move ahead and explain the next figure of speech, which is apostrophe. What is apostrophe? You people might wonder, sir, कुठून कुठून शोधून आणले तुम्ही, आतापर्यंत ऐकले नाही आम्ही. अपॉस्ट्रॉफी मागच्या वर्षी कदाचित तुम्ही ऐकले असेल. 8th स्टँडर्ड स्टुडंट्स, यानी की नाव यू पीपल, तुम्ही कुठलाच अडथळा तुम्हाला आला नाही 9th स्टँडर्डमध्ये जाण्यासाठी. खूप खूप अभिनंदन, तुम्ही 9th स्टँडर्डमध्ये पोहोचले आहात, तुमचं अभिनंदन. So 8th standard, last year's 8th standard students have studied this figure of speech, apostrophe. What is apostrophe? It is direct address to someone who is not present, to someone who is dead, or someone or something that is inanimate. For example, the poets can talk to anybody, by the way. They can talk to even non-living things. For example, in some poems they talk to motherland. They say, oh motherland, grant my wish. In the poem they do that. Children, they are making a direct address to someone who is not there, or someone who is not present, someone who is non-living, inanimate, you may say. In many patriotic poems, you see specially this figure of speech apostrophe is mainly used in patriotic poems. So some examples I would like to give you. In 10th standard SSC student, 10th standard SSC textbook, you will find the very first poem by Rabindranath Tagore, where the mind is without fear, in which Tagore says to God, he says, where the mind is laid forward by thee, talks to God. Thee here refers to God. God, where the mind is laid forward by you. So what does it mean? He's directly referring to God, directly addressing God. So whenever there is a direct address, children, the figure of speech is, yes, you are right, apostrophe. So let's go ahead. The next figure of speech, hyperbole, which we very liberally use in our day-to-day life. Hyperbole, बड़ा चढ़ा के बताना, है कि नहीं? We can use it with friends while talking to your friends. You people use it, hyperbole. But poets also use it. Sometimes poets exaggerate the idea. बड़ा चढ़ा के बताते, न पटणाऱ्या गोष्ट. The poet says 10,000 saw I at a glance. What does it mean? He saw 10,000 flowers in one glance. That's what he says. Obviously, it is exaggeration. बड़ा चढ़ा के बताया बात को. So hyperbole is an exaggeration simply. Children, in one of the poems, and mostly hyperbole is used in ridiculous, no, not ridiculous, we should not say ridiculous, in what we say, the word I'm not getting, funny poems, or what we call it. Okay, let it be. Once I remember, I'll tell you. Humorous poems, the word I was finding. Children, in humorous poems, most of the times hyperbole is used. In one poem, that is Again, 10th standard students have this poem in their last unit, Height of Ridiculous. In this poem, what happens? The poet is actually a good poet, decent one, and he has written a very funny poem. And he gives that poem, that paper, to his attendant, his servant, and his servant, who is a healthy man, he takes hold of the paper in hand and he starts reading the poem. As he starts reading the poem, children, the poet at one point describes that he burst 5 buttons off. He was so, you know what? He was so, it was so funny that he laughed and laughed and laughed his heart out, and he burst 5 buttons off. His waistband split. This is what the poet says in the poem. This is exactly hyperbole. Let us go ahead, children. Next figure of speech, which is very simple, and I hope you people all have heard its name is synecdoche. What, sir? Synecdoche. Synecdoche. I will spell it for you people. Synecdoche. Synecdoche. And if you people want me to repeat again, please, you people can, it's a video, you people can easily make me repeat 100 times. So synecdoche, what is synecdoche? Where a part represents the whole or whole represents the part. What does it mean? Part, whole. They say many hands make light work. Many hands make light work. Actually, it's a proverb. It simply means if many people are involved in something, the chances are it will be successful. So many hands make light work. Hand simply means what? The whole person, not just hands. Somebody says there were 100 heads in the class. Only heads were there. No, no. Head here represents the whole person. So children, synecdoche is also very common. 10th standard, there are some poems in which definitely synecdoche is used. In 9th standard, I don't remember any poem, but yes, many a times the parts of human body represent the whole person, right? So I hope synecdoche is clear to you people. It simply is making use of a part for the whole or the whole for a part. For example, the whole country is waiting for you. What does it mean? The country is waiting for you. Is the whole country waiting? No. Here, country refers to people of the country. Getting it? The whole represents the part. I hope it is clear to you. Let me move on to the next one, and the next figure of speech is very interesting. Transferred epithet. Now, transferred is a word that is known to you people. You can write the spelling. Epithet, I'll repeat. Epithet. Epithet. You will say, sir, कुठून शोधून आणली हे तुम्ही? Epithet. Transferred epithet simply means transferred adjective. What is the meaning of the word epithet? It simply means adjective. Children, when an adjective is transferred from its original noun to another noun, I'll tell you some phrases. Just before 2 days in an online lecture, I taught 10th SSC students the poem All the World's a Stage. Now, in this poem, the poet says that a teenager sings sad songs for his beloved. The poet says he sings woeful ballads. Woeful का मतलब होता है sad, ballad का मतलब होता है song. So here actually the poet is saying woeful ballad. Is the ballad sad? Is the song sad? No, he is sad. So the quality of being sad is attributed to something else. You people might have heard this example. For example, he spent the sleepless night. Was the night sleepless? No, he was sleepless. But he says he spent the sleepless night. So what do we understand? We understand that the adjective is transferred. Name only tells what the figure of speech. Transferred epithet. Adjective got transferred from its original noun. Another example that I have collected here is sleepless night, sunburn, mirth, melodious plain. Okay, these you might not understand, and it might also be difficult for me to explain in this short time. 25 minutes already gone, so many figures of speech remain. Children, let us go ahead. We will go ahead. Euphemism. What is euphemism? Euphemism simply is saying or using a mild expression instead of harsh one. Instead of saying that somebody has instead of saying that somebody is blind, we say that he is visually challenged. Instead of saying somebody is handicapped, it should not we should not say that somebody is handicapped, we should say he is physically challenged. Instead of saying somebody is mad, we should say he is mentally challenged. There is no need to say this if there is no need. Okay, so children, let us go ahead. I talked about euphemism. By the way, if you people need help with this spelling euphemism, I'll tell you: euphemism. Euphemism, mild expression instead of a harsh one. And here I have collected a very nice example. He is telling us a fairy tale. What does it mean? He is telling us a fairy tale. A fairy tale का मतलब होता है झूठ. He is telling us a lie. I खोटा बोलते है तू. Instead of saying that, which is very harsh expression, we will say he's telling us a fairy tale. Then, so instead of saying that somebody has died, we will say he has fallen asleep, or he is no more. He is not with us. He has left for his heavenly abode. That simply means someone has died. I hope it is clear to you, children. I'll move ahead and let us talk about the next figure of speech, and that is epigram. And I know for sure 8th standard students have definitely studied it last year. Children, 8th standard means now you are in 9th standard. Okay, last year you people have this poem, first poem. I think I don't remember the title of the poem, but this example you might remember: every day is a new beginning. Now this line from that poem is a proverb. I remember it easily. So when a brief or pointed saying a brief or pointed saying is used in a line of poem, or a line of a poem becomes a proverb, a very well-known proverb it is, because it is a general truth. It is called euphemism. Sorry, epigram. An epigram is what? It is a brief pointed saying. Children, it becomes a proverb. It is a proverbial line. For example, in Wordsworth has in one of his poems, Wordsworth has said, "A child is a father of man." And whenever I say this sentence in class, many students laugh. Sir, what are you saying, sir? It is totally illogical. Child is father of man. But there is an idea behind it. What is it? Whatever you acquire as a child, आप जब बच्चा अगर कोई बच्चा होता है जो भी कुछ सीखता है, you know, whatever a child learns, it remains with him till the time he becomes a man. And that's why it is said it is very important and impressionable period of life. Whatever you learn as a child becomes a part of you, and you remain the same the whole of your life. And therefore, whatever you are learning these days as a child, that's what you're going to make you a man. Your father does not mean the real father. Your father means the creator. Okay, I hope it is clear to you. Another line: fools rush in where angels fear to tread. And another one: the art lies in concealing art. अच्छा, आर्ट छुपाने में ही आर्ट है. Silence is sometimes more eloquent than words. Eloquent means powerful, effective speech. So silence is sometimes more eloquent than words. Okay, these are the examples for epigram that I had collected. Children, if you wish to write these examples, definitely you people can put a pause button and you people can rewind and write. 100 times I am ready to tell you. See, you want 100 times, I will tell 100 times. You just do this thing. You just pause it, Take 10 seconds back. I will repeat it. Let's go ahead. Pun. Pun. Pun काय sir? Actually, it's a figure of speech. Pun. Pun. Pun simply means a clever use of words. Words convey two meanings many a times. Words convey two meanings. The quality of life depends on a lever. Now here somebody might say कि the quality of life depends on a lever. Lever है कि part of body. I don't know where is it. I'm trying to show you. Lever is what? Part of body. It does not mean part of body. It means the one who is living. So see here, two words are being conveyed by the word lever. Then another example that I remember is from, actually I think ninth standard students have a poem. In a whole poem, they have made use of a pun, and I don't remember the lines of the poem, but have you ever seen? Is the title of the poem. You people can quickly check it on, can Google it. Have you ever seen? The whole poem is an example of pun, but I have not collected examples from that poem. I just remembered it. Uh, is life worth living? It depends upon the lever. Example. Okay, children, let me go ahead. After pun, actually 10th standard students have this figure of speech pun in one of their poems. I will tell you the example quickly. See, God was giving all the gifts to man, and there was this glass of gifts, and God was pouring all the gifts to man, and then he stopped, and rest in the bottom lay. Now poet says rest in the bottom lay. Here rest यानी कि बाकी जो था वो, but there is another meaning. जो बचा कुचा था वो था रेस्ट. Therefore we never have rest. इंसान को कभी रेस्ट मिलती नहीं है. देखो आपको छुट्टी है, इतना लॉकडाउन है, पर रेस्ट है क्या? नहीं, मेरा लेक्चर सुनना पड़ रहा है. No rest. God has not given rest. So the poet says, rest in the bottom lay. God gave everything, but what was left? Rest was left. So rest word is conveying two meanings. It is an example of pun. Let me go ahead. Antithesis. Oh, this is also a very easy figure of speech. And you people have heard about it. By the way, the meaning of this figure of speech lies in the name itself. Anti simply means opposite. Antithesis. Thesis means idea. Opposite idea. Opposite words are used in the line of a poem. It is called antithesis. To err is human. To forgive divine. गलती करना इंसान इंसान से गलती होती है, एंड टू फॉरगिव माफ करना भगवान की क्वालिटी होती है. तो गलती करना और माफ करना दोनों अपोजिट है. टू एयर, टू फॉरगिव, opposite ideas are expressed in the same line. Another example, give every man thy ear but few thy voice. Please remember, please remember this for your lifetime. Give every man thy ear, सबका सुनो. Give every man thy ear, सुनो सबका. But few thy voice, but let no one speak for you. You yourself speak for yourself. कभी अपने लिए दूसरे किसी को बोलने मत दो. Become independent, become strong. Children, let's go ahead. And this next figure of speech, oxymoron. 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 Children, oxymoron is a very nice figure of speech in which seemingly contradictory words are put together. Like a dark day. If you say day, can it be dark? A dark day. A bright night. If you say bright, can it be night? Opposite, contradictory ideas. A small elephant. If it is elephant, can it be small? So contradictory ideas are actually used or expressed in a line of a poem. And yes, here I have noted some examples which if you people wish I can provide to you people the notes that I have. But children, I tried to make a PowerPoint presentation, but it was not possible for me. The voice quality was not satisfactory, and therefore I decided to, record this video. And these different examples that I have collected, definitely these can be useful to you people. If you people want it, you can take it from me. Definitely I'll provide an app. I'm there to help you people. Let me go ahead. And I was talking about oxymoron. In oxymoron, see, there are so many examples of oxymoron. In day-to-day life, we do use these examples. For example, see, yeah, I have noted it. Loving hate. Somebody's loving hate. Like a child hates you. जा तिकडे. मला तुझ्याशी बोलायचं नाही. That's a loving hate. Loving but hatred. Then make haste slowly. घाई कर. हळूहळू घाई कर. Suppose you are saying someone हळूहळू घाई कर means what? Make haste slowly. It is opposite. If it is he is making haste, how can it be slow? So opposite ideas are placed together, and therefore it is called oxymoron. Now next figure of speech is litotes. Sir, कुठून कुठून घेऊन आले तुम्ही? Litotes काय? By the way, जेवढं नाव अवघड ना तेवढी फिगर ऑफ स्पीच सोपी. Litotes, Litotes is exactly opposite of hyperbole. Hyperbole में क्या होता है? Exaggeration, बढ़ा चढ़ा के बताना. But when you are telling things in a very humble manner, right? When you are telling things in a very humble manner, exactly the negative of hyperbole is litotes. For example, I am not a little afraid. Actually, he's saying I am afraid, but he's saying I am not a little afraid. I'm not a little afraid. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I'm not a bad sort. He's saying I'm not a bad sort. That simply means he is not bad, not so bad. He is bad, but not so bad. That's what he is trying to convey. Litotes में क्या होता है? We see it's primarily a negative expression. It's what? Primarily a negative expression. Somebody says, I am not a Tata Ambani. So he's trying to say I am rich, but I am not that rich like Tata and Ambani. Okay, litotes. I hope you have understood it, children. Next figure of speech is interrogation. Interrogation simple, सबसे simple. Sir, आम्हाला बिलकुल सांगू नका. आम्हाला फक्त माहिती question mark. A question mark and we identify it is interrogation. Children, in the very first poem of 9th standard, Life. In that poem, the poet asks a question. Today itself, I was teaching the students, and the line is, if the showers will make roses bloom, why lament its fall? अगर थोड़ी सी बारिश होने से गुलाब के फूल अगर खिलने वाले हैं तो बारिश का गम क्यों? The poet is asking question. Why lament its fall? Lament का मतलब होता है express sorrow. The poet says, if little rain brings flowers, why lament its fall? So that's what is the figure of speech. Let me go ahead, children. I have collected so many examples, but since interrogation is quite easy thing, which can be identified just seeing the question mark, children, I will go ahead. The notes are going to be there for you people. Alliteration, सबसे favorite alliteration. What is alliteration? Repetition of a sound. By the way, many times I say to children, do not forget it is in quick succession. And in a line of a poem, the sound should be repeated but in a quick succession. For example, if I say the line, he fell flat on his face. He fell flat on his face. Fur, fur. The sound is repeated in quick succession. I was teaching 9 CBSE students the poem The Road Not Taken. In that poem, there is a line. I took the no sorry I kept the first for another day. In that line he says first for another day. For repeat it. In the very first poem, 9th standard, life, 9th SSC poem, life. Last line of the poem, can courage quell despair? Can courage quell, k, k, k. Ninth standard poem, Silver. In that poem, there is one line: couched in his kennel. A dog, उसका घर होता है kennel. Couched in his kennel. K, k, k. But if you people see in that sentence, couched in his kennel, couch start with C and kennel starts with K. तो बहुत सारे बच्चों को ये डिफिकल्ट होती है, सर यहाँ पे काउच सी से स्टार्ट होता है, केनल के से स्टार्ट होता है, साउंड तो रिपीट नहीं हो रहा है। बच्चे, तू साउंड और लेटर में गड़बड़ कर रहा है। मुझे पता नहीं है कि लेटर इज व्हाट इज रिटन, साउंड इज व्हाट इज प्रोनाउंस्ड. So when you say couched in his kennel, you are saying k. Getting it? So you need to see the sound, not the letters, when you are identifying alliteration. I'll go ahead. The next figure of speech that we are going to study is onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia, children, the spelling is quite interesting. Onomatoeia. Please learn the spelling. मी सुद्धा स्वतः सुरुवातीला, like many a times I used to go wrong in writing the spelling, but I one day I decided to learn it and I learned it in 1 minute. You people would also require 1 minute only, but to find 1 minute is pretty difficult task, very tough task. See if you can try. Onomatopoeia. Children, onomatopoeia is the use of words